July 20th, 1973, Hong Kong. Bruce Lee collapsed on a film set. 6 hours later, he was dead. Age 32. Cause: cerebral edema. Brain swelling. Unexplained. March 31st, 1993. Wilmington, North Carolina. Brandon Lee was shot on a film set. 12 hours later, he was dead. Age 28. Cause: gunshot wound from a prop gun. Accidental. Unexplained. Father and son. Both martial artists. Both actors. Both died on film sets. Both deaths mysterious. Both at the peak of their careers. Both left unfinished films. The coincidences are impossible. The theories are endless. But nobody can explain why the Lee family curse took 2 generations. This is the story of Bruce and Brandon Lee, and the curse that killed them both. But to understand the curse, you need to know how Bruce Lee died. July 20th, 1973, Hong Kong. Bruce Lee was 32 years old, peak of his career. Enter the Dragon had just been completed. Warner Bros. Was releasing it worldwide in August. Bruce was about to become the first Asian global superstar. That afternoon, Bruce was at the home of Betty Ting Pei, a Taiwanese actress. They were discussing a film project. Bruce complained of a headache. Betty gave him a painkiller, Equagesic, a common headache medication. Bruce went to lie down, said he'd rest for a bit. 2 hours later, Betty tried to wake him for a dinner meeting. Bruce wouldn't wake up. She called Raymond Chow, Bruce's producer. Raymond rushed over, tried to wake Bruce. Nothing. They called an ambulance. Bruce was rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Doctors worked on him for hours, but Bruce Lee was already gone. Official cause of death: cerebral edema, brain swelling, acute reaction to the Equagesic painkiller. But doctors were confused. Equagesic doesn't normally cause cerebral edema. Bruce had taken it before with no problems. The autopsy revealed Bruce's brain had swollen from 1,400 grams to 1,575 grams, a 13% increase. Massive, fatal. But why? Why did Bruce's brain swell? Theories exploded. Theory 1. Heat stroke. Bruce had been training intensely. Hong Kong summer heat. Dehydration. But Bruce was in peak physical condition. Heat stroke didn't make sense. Theory 2. Allergic reaction to the Equagesic, but Bruce had taken it before. No allergic history. Theory 3. Drug interaction. Bruce had been taking cannabis. Could it have interacted with the painkiller? Possible but unproven. Theory 4. Overtraining. Bruce pushed his body beyond safe limits. 8 hours a day training. Extreme dieting. His body broke down. Theory 5. The curse. Bruce's family believed he'd angered Chinese spirits by teaching martial arts to Westerners. He'd broken the sacred code. The spirits took revenge. Linda Lee, Bruce's widow, addressed the theories in a 1975 interview. Bruce didn't die from a painkiller. He died from pushing himself too hard for too long. His body couldn't sustain what his mind demanded. He achieved the impossible, and the impossible killed him. But one detail haunted everyone. Bruce's final film, Game of Death, was unfinished. In the film, Bruce's character is shot and killed. The film was supposed to show him faking his death. Bruce died before finishing it. The irony was unbearable. The funeral was held in Hong Kong. 25,000 people attended. Steve McQueen, James Coburn, Chuck Norris, all pallbearers. Bruce was buried in Seattle, Lakeview Cemetery. Plot 276. Linda stood at the grave with their 2 children. Shannon, 4 years old. Brandon, 8 years old. Brandon didn't cry. He stood silent, staring at his father's casket. Later, Brandon told his mother, "I'm going to finish Dad's work. I'm going to be like him." Linda's heart broke. "No, Brandon. Please, choose a different path." But Brandon wouldn't listen. He was his father's son. 20 years later, history repeated itself. Exactly. After Bruce died, Linda moved the family to Los Angeles. She wanted Brandon and Shannon away from Hong Kong, away from the pressure, away from the curse. But Brandon couldn't escape his father's shadow. Everywhere he went. "You're Bruce Lee's son?" At school, kids challenged him to fights. "Show us kung fu." They expected him to be like his father, a superhuman fighter. Brandon tried. He trained in martial arts. Jeet Kune Do, karate, kickboxing. He was good, very good, but he wasn't Bruce, and that destroyed him. "I'll never be as good as my father," Brandon told his mother at age 14. "Everyone expects me to be him, but I'm not him. I'm just me." Linda tried to protect him. "You don't have to be your father, be yourself," but Hollywood wouldn't let him. Casting directors saw Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, and expected miracles. At 18, Brandon decided, "I'm going to be an actor. Like my father, I'm going to honor his legacy." Linda begged him, "Brandon, please, choose something else, anything else." Acting took your father from us. Don't let it take you too. Brandon smiled. Mom, I have to. It's in my blood. I'll be careful. I promise. 1986. Brandon got his first role. Kung Fu the movie. A TV movie. He played a martial artist. The reviews. He's good, but he's not his father. Brandon was frustrated. I can't escape him. Everything I do, they compare me to Dad. He started taking risks, doing his own stunts, pushing himself harder. I have to prove I'm worthy of the Lee name. Linda watched with growing fear. Brandon is becoming Bruce. The same drive, the same obsession, the same refusal to quit. 1991. Brandon got his breakthrough role. Rapid Fire, an action film. He did all his own stunts, fight scenes, car chases, explosions. The film was a hit. Critics praised Brandon. He has his father's charisma, his father's intensity. He might actually be worthy of the Lee legacy. Brandon was thrilled. Finally, they're seeing me. Not just Bruce Lee's son. Me. Brandon was cast in The Crow, a dark, gothic action film. Brandon would play Eric Draven, a musician who returns from the dead to avenge his murder. The role was perfect. Dark, intense, emotional. Not just martial arts. Real acting. Brandon told Linda, "This is it, Mom. This is the film that makes me a star. On my own terms. Not because of Dad. Because of me." Linda felt uneasy. "Please be careful. The stunts. Mom, I'm always careful. I promise. This film is going to change everything." Filming began January 1993, Wilmington, North Carolina. But from the beginning, The Crow production was cursed. January 1993, The Crow began filming. Immediately, things went wrong. Week 1, a crew member drove a screwdriver through his hand. Accident. Week 2, a construction worker was severely burned when a crane hit power lines. Hospitalized. Week 3, a grip fell through a roof, broke several ribs. Week 4, hurricane-force winds destroyed several sets, thousands of dollars in damage. The crew started whispering, "This film is cursed." Brandon laughed it off. "Every film has accidents. We're fine." But the accidents kept happening. Equipment failures, injuries, fires, electrical problems. Michael Massey, Brandon's co-star, told a reporter, "Something feels wrong on this set. Like we're making something we shouldn't be making." The film's plot didn't help. Brandon's character, Eric Draven, is murdered, returns from the dead, seeks revenge, dies again at the end. "You're playing a dead man coming back to life," a crew member told Brandon. "That's dark magic, man." Brandon shrugged. "It's just a movie." March 30, 1993. The production was almost finished. One more week of filming. Brandon was exhausted. 58 days of intense stunts, fight scenes, emotional scenes. That night, they were filming a scene where Brandon's character is shot. A simple scene. Brandon walks into a room. An actor fires a prop gun. Brandon reacts, falls, cut. The prop gun was supposed to be loaded with blanks, no real bullets, just powder to create the flash and sound. The armorer, the person responsible for gun safety, wasn't on set that night. Budget cuts. The production couldn't afford to keep him there for every scene. Instead, a crew member prepared the gun, loaded it with what he thought were blanks. But here's what nobody knew. Earlier in the production, the prop gun had been loaded with dummy rounds for a close-up shot. Dummy rounds look real, but have no powder, just for visual shots. Someone had removed the powder from a real bullet, but they'd left the primer, the small explosive cap that ignites the powder. When that dummy round was fired during the earlier scene, the primer exploded. It pushed the bullet into the gun barrel. The bullet got stuck there. Nobody noticed. Now, weeks later, the gun barrel still had that bullet lodged inside. When the crew member loaded blanks for March 30's scene, he didn't check the barrel, didn't know there was a real bullet stuck inside. March 31st, 1993, 12:30 a.m., the scene began. Brandon walked into the room. Michael Massey's character aimed the prop gun, fired. The blank's explosive force hit the stuck bullet, propelled it out of the barrel. The bullet traveled at near real bullet velocity. It hit Brandon in the abdomen, tore through his intestines, lodged near his spine. Brandon fell. Everyone thought he was acting. His fall looked perfect. Realistic. "Cut," the director yelled. "Great take, Brandon." Brandon didn't get up. The director walked over. "Brandon, you okay?" Brandon was unconscious, blood pooling under him. "Oh my God. Oh my God. Call 911. The next 12 hours would destroy Linda Lee's life forever." 12:35 a.m. Ambulance called. Brandon rushed to New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Doctors worked frantically. The bullet had caused massive internal damage. Brandon had lost enormous amounts of blood. They operated for 5 hours, trying to repair the damage, trying to save Bruce Lee's son. Linda Lee was in Los Angeles, asleep. The phone rang at 3 a.m. "Mrs. Lee, there's been an accident on the Crow set. Brandon was shot. He's in surgery. You need to come now."
Linda's world stopped. Shot. How? It's a movie set. How? We don't know. Just come. Please. Linda flew to North Carolina. The entire flight, she prayed. Please God, not again. Don't take my son. Please. She arrived at the hospital. 11 a.m. Brandon was still in surgery. The doctors came out. Their faces told the story. We did everything we could, but the damage was too extensive. Brandon didn't make it. I'm so sorry. Time of death, 103 p.m., March 31st, 1993. The news spread instantly. Brandon Lee dead at 28, shot on film set. Bruce Lee's son dies in tragic accident. The Lee family curse strikes again. The world was in shock. Bruce Lee died mysteriously at 32 on a film set. 20 years later, his son died at 28 on a film set. The parallels were impossible. Both were actors. Both were martial artists. Both died on film sets. Both deaths were unexpected. Both left unfinished films. Both were at career peaks. Both were too young. Shannon Lee, Brandon's sister, said in a 2018 interview, "Losing my father was devastating. But losing Brandon broke something in our family that can never be fixed. 2 generations, same tragedy. How do you process that? How do you move forward?" Linda Lee buried her son next to her husband. Lakeview Cemetery, Seattle. Plot 276-27-7. Father and son, side by side, forever. At the funeral, Linda said, "I don't believe in curses, but I believe the Lee family paid too high a price for fame. Bruce pushed too hard. Brandon felt he had to live up to Bruce's legacy, and both paid with their lives. If there's a curse, it's the curse of impossible expectations." But the story gets stranger. The coincidences go deeper. After Brandon's death, investigators looked into the details. What they found was disturbing. Coincidence 1. The films. Bruce's final film, Game of Death. Plot. Bruce's character fakes his death. Brandon's final film, The Crow. Plot. Brandon's character returns from death. Both films about death. Both left unfinished. Coincidence 2. The ages. Bruce died at 32. If you add the digits, 3 plus 2, 5. Brandon died at 28. If you add the digits, 2 plus 8. Brandon died at 28. If you add the digits, 2 plus 8, 10. 1 plus 2, 1. In Chinese numerology, both reduce to unlucky numbers. Coincidence 3. The dates. Bruce died July 23, 1973. 29 to 70, 29-3, 29 to 70. Both deaths numerologically sum to 11. In Chinese superstition, 11 is the number of incompleteness. Coincidence 4. The prop. Bruce's unfinished film showed him being shot. Brandon was killed by a prop gun. Coincidence 5. The warning. Before filming The Crow, Brandon had a nightmare. He told his fiancée, Eliza Hutton, "I dreamed I was shot on set. It felt so real. I died in the dream." In Chinese culture, 8 is lucky. But the Lee family's connection to 8 was cursed. Brandon was 8 years old when Bruce died. Brandon died 8 days before his wedding. Bruce died in apartment 8, Betty Ting Pei's flat number. The Crow was Brandon's 8th major film. Coincidence 7. The burial. When Brandon was buried next to Bruce, cemetery workers reported, the ground between the 2 graves cracked. A large fissure appeared connecting both graves. Geologists said it was natural ground settling, but cemetery staff whispered. The father called his son home. 20 years after Brandon's death, the theories still rage. Theory 1. Family curse. Chinese feng shui masters say the Lee family violated ancient codes. Bruce taught martial arts to non-Chinese. Forbidden. Bruce made films that commercialized sacred techniques. Sacrilege. Bruce named his son Brandon. Western name angered ancestors. The family rejected traditional Chinese burial rites. Punishment. 2 generations destroyed. Linda Lee's response. I don't believe in curses, but I respect Chinese culture. If we violated something, I apologize. But my husband and son don't deserve to be remembered as cursed. They should be remembered as brilliant. Theory 2. Hollywood sacrifice. Conspiracy theorists claim Hollywood requires sacrifices for fame. Bruce and Brandon were offered up. Evidence cited. Both died at career peaks. Both deaths benefited studios financially. Posthumous releases. Both deaths were never fully explained. Linda's response. This is offensive. My family wasn't sacrificed. They were victims of tragedy and negligence. Theory 3. Triad revenge. The Hong Kong Triads allegedly put a hit on Bruce in 1973. When that succeeded, they cursed the entire Lee bloodline. Brandon's death was Triad retaliation for Bruce's 1973 refusal to pay protection money. Evidence, none. Pure speculation. Theory 4. Generational trauma. Psychologists suggest Brandon felt enormous pressure to live up to Bruce's legacy. This pressure manifested as self-destructive behavior. Brandon pushed too hard, took too many risks, subconsciously wanted to die like his father to finally be worthy. Shannon Lee's response: "My brother didn't want to die. He wanted to live. He wanted to honor our father by succeeding, not by dying." Theory 5. Pure coincidence. Bruce died from overtraining and drug reaction. A tragic accident. Brandon died from criminal negligence on a film set. Another tragic accident. No curse, no conspiracy, just two horrible tragedies in one family. Most investigators accept this theory, but the coincidences make it hard to believe. Today the Lee family legacy continues, but the curse question remains. 2024, 31 years after Brandon's death, 51 years after Bruce's death. Shannon Lee is now 55. She runs the Bruce Lee Foundation, protects her father's and brother's legacies. In a 2020 interview, people ask if I'm afraid of the curse, if I think I'll die young too. The answer is no. I don't believe in the curse, but I believe my family paid a horrible price for fame, and I'm determined to make sure their deaths meant something. Linda Lee died in 2024, at age natural causes. She spent 51 years as a widow, outlived her husband and son. Her final interview, 2023. I don't know if there was a curse, but I know this: Bruce and Brandon were both brilliant, both kind, both determined to make the world better through their art. They died too young, but they lived fully. That's their legacy. Not a curse, a legacy of excellence. The Crow was completed using CGI and a body double. Released October 1994. Dedicated to Brandon. Box office $50 million. Critical acclaim. Brandon's performance was praised as haunting and brilliant. But nobody could watch it without crying. Every scene you knew, he's going to die, and he doesn't know it. Game of Death was completed using Bruce Lee lookalikes and old footage. Released 1978. Dedicated to Bruce. It was a mess. Disrespectful to Bruce's vision. But fans watched anyway, to see Bruce one more time. Today Bruce and Brandon's graves in Seattle are pilgrimage sites. Thousands visit every year. Leave flowers, notes, martial arts belts. The most common note: the curse didn't beat you, you both won. Forever legends. Was there a curse? Evidence for 2 generations, same tragedy. Both on film sets, both unexpected deaths. Impossible coincidences, numerology, timing, ages, Chinese feng shui violations. Evidence against: Bruce died from medical causes, cerebral edema. Brandon died from criminal negligence, prop gun. Coincidences can be explained statistically. Low other Lee family members died young. Shannon Lee is alive and healthy at 55. The truth, we'll never know. But here's what we do know. Bruce Lee changed martial arts forever. Broke racial barriers, inspired millions. Brandon Lee was becoming a star, had his father's charisma, his own unique talent. Both were taken too soon. Both left unfinished work. Both left a family destroyed by grief. Curse or coincidence, it doesn't matter. The result is the same: 2 brilliant lives cut short, 2 legacies frozen in time, 2 graves side by side in Seattle. Father and son, forever. July 2073. Bruce Lee died, age 32. Film set, mysterious. March 31, 1993. Brandon Lee died, age 28. Film set, mysterious. 20 years apart, same family, same tragedy. Curse, coincidence, conspiracy. Nobody knows, but everybody remembers. Bruce Lee, the legend who changed martial arts. Brandon Lee, the son who tried to honor his father's legacy. Both taken too soon, both buried together, both forever missed. Subscribe for more untold stories. Comment: do you believe in the Lee family curse? Be like water, my friend. But sometimes, water runs dry too soon.